Let's talk about the decisions that make your stomach drop. You know, the ones that keep you up at night. The ones that feel like one wrong move could change everything. Quitting the job, launching the thing, ending the relationship, investing the money, changing your body, your habits, your identity, all of that stuff. This is where your brain doesn't just glitch, it panics. And if you saw the last video in this series, you know we handled the small spirals with the 10-10-10 loop breaker. If you missed it, watch it after this one. It'll make this one even more powerful. But when the decision feels big, the stakes feel different. This is where overthinking shifts from annoying to paralyzing. And here's what's important to understand. For high-achieving women, overthinking big decisions isn't about being indecisive. It's about protecting your reputation. It's about not wanting to look foolish, waste time, disappoint people, and not wanting to prove your inner critic right. So your brain says, let's analyze this more. Not a little bit, but a lot of it. But what it's really doing is building a safety buffer. Because when a big decision shows up, your amygdala, your internal alarm system, treat it like a literal threat. Career pivot, danger. Big investment, danger. Boundary conversation, danger, danger, danger. Your brain would rather keep you safe than help you expand. That's why we need something stronger than willpower. We need a decision-making filter, the C.L.E.A.R filter. I came across this framework from a results strategist. And what caught my attention was how simple it made something that usually feels very overwhelming and made it easier to apply in real life. I've been running my own decisions through it lately, and it's been perfect for helping me make quicker decisions. Think of it as your high-stakes GPS. It filters out emotional noise so you can actually see the road. Hence the acronym C.L.E.A.R. I love it. So let me break down this framework step by step and show you how I'm applying it to escape my own overthinking loops. The first part of the system is this. Can this be reversed? First, ask yourself, is this a one-way door or a two-way door? Jeff Bezos calls them type 1 and type 2 decisions. Type 1, one-way door. Hard to reverse. You go slow. Type 2, two-way door. Easy to reverse. You move faster. Most women treat every decision like the door locks behind them. It doesn't. Launching a new service, reversible. Trying couples therapy, reversible. Applying for a new job, reversible. Testing a new health routine, reversible. True one-way doors are rare. If the decision is reversible, stop treating it like a life sentence. Lower the stakes so you can move. Pause for a second. That big thing you're chewing on right now, is it actually a one-way door? Or are you acting like the door is welded shut when it's really just on a hinge? Now the L is for long-term impact. Once you've lowered the stakes and realized the door isn't locked behind you, the next question is this. Will this matter in 6 months? Not in theory, but actually. We tend to catastrophize. Wait, is that a word? Catastrophize? I'm going with it. We tend to catastrophize when we're stressed. We think one mistake ruins everything. But zoom out. In 6 months, will this decision define you? Or will it just be part of the path? If it won't matter long term, give yourself permission to be good enough right now instead of perfect. Now, once you've zoomed out and checked the long-term impact, the next thing you need to ask yourself is this. Do I have enough info to start? This is the 70% rule. Referencing Bezos again, he says if you wait until you have 100% of the information, you're already too late. If you have 70%, you move. So do you have enough information to take the first step? Not the whole leap, not the entire 5-year plan, just the first step. If the answer is yes, and you're still waiting, you're not gathering data, you're buffering. And one of the things I said in the last video is clarity is not a prerequisite for action. Clarity is the result of action. Now that you've looked at the data and lowered the stakes, here's a deeper check. Am I deciding from panic or from possibility? Am I reacting because I'm afraid of losing something or choosing this because it genuinely feels like growth? Slow down and really notice the difference. Decisions made in survivor mode are usually just fear dressed up as productivity. If that's what's driving you, pause, breathe, regulate first, sleep on it if you need to, move your body, then decide. Because fear is loud, alignment is steady. And see, alignment doesn't mean you're not nervous or don't have doubts or discomfort. It usually feels like a quiet yes underneath the noise or excitement mixed with fear. It feels expansive instead of tight. It feels like growth, not escape. It feels like something that keeps coming back to you, even when you try to ignore it. You might still feel scared, but you also feel pulled forward. That's alignment. Now that you've checked reversibility, impact, information, and alignment, here's the final question, and it's the one most people avoid. What's the real risk? Stop letting the what ifs be vague monsters in the dark. Name them. It's the risk that you'll lose money, that someone will judge you, that it won't work, Now ask the harder question. What's the risk of not acting? What's the cost of staying where you are for yet another year? The risk of trying is visible. The risk of staying stuck is invisible. And invisible risks are often the most dangerous. Let me give you a quick example. Let's say you're thinking about launching a new offer. Overthinking mode asks, what if no one buys? What if I look stupid? The C.L.E.A.R filter asks, is it reversible? Yes. Will this matter in 6 months? Probably not. Do I have 70% of the info? Yes. Am I aligned? I'm scared, but I'm also excited about the possibility of making additional money, which is aligned with my wealth goals. Lastly, what's the real risk? Failing publicly or waking up a year from now in the exact same place, quietly resentful that you never tried? See the difference? This filter doesn't eliminate fear. It shrinks it down to size, because here's the truth. You don't need to be fearless. Hey, check out the video I did on that where I call BS on fearlessness. You need to be clear, and clear does not mean certain. It means conscious. Now it's your turn. I challenge you. Take one big decision you've been chewing on, run it through the C.L.E.A.R filter, write your answers down, and then ask yourself, am I missing data, or am I just afraid of what happens if this actually works? And be honest, because most of the time it's not about readiness, and you don't need anyone else's permission to live aligned. You just need the courage to choose it. And if you want help turning this into something you can actually practice in real life, I created some fabulous free worksheets that go with this and the other loop breakers in this series, and a supportive community inside the Escapers Lab. We don't just think about big decisions, we test them. We gather data and we support each other through the messy middle. Because growth isn't about the perfect move, it's about tiny, courageous, informed steps. I'd love for you to join me, links in the description below. Now in the next video, we're tackling a different form of overthinking. Namely, what happens when you have too many good options. That's where the good enough gauge comes in. And trust me, if you struggle with choice paralysis, that one is going to feel like oxygen. But before you go, hit that like button if this gave you even one aha moment. It tells YouTube this conversation matters. And if you're ready to stop overthinking and start moving, subscribe so you don't miss the next loop breaker. Now, my fellow escaper, go be your own kind of different. See you in the next one. Toodles!